and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion for the minutes?
So moved.
And seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
The claims will wait a little bit. I guess find a couple more on there. Wayne,
Yeah. How's everybody? Good. Keep a smile on your face, Tracy. This won't hurt much. 3 years ago about now, I came to the board with the notion that the world would be a better place if we did something with 61st Street, east of Highway 218, dirt road, been that way for, let's say, farm for horses. And thought we'd made a decent case for some improvements to be done. Subsequent to that, I think you folks met at one of the Farm Bureau meetings, had a fairly decent discussion of what the project might be involved in and what the needs were. And subsequent to that, time gets away from me, but I thought we had an awful nice meeting at the Benton Shellsburg School District's offices, attended by company Tracy, 20, 30 people from the caregivers. And I thought the support there was pretty good. And 3 years has gone by and absolutely nothing has happened. I'll give you COVID, I'll give you all that other stuff. But I was wondering, how long should we have to make to establish a farm to market road at 61st Street? You could call it an artery road serving at least 9 square miles south and east of town. And something I believe is something should have a higher priority than what it's been given up to this point. I'd like to read in the public record a couple letters I've got from some organizations and businesses. I'd like to provide you with the names of the people that signed a letter of encouragement. And I'd like to have a discussion of how we get this thing back up on its feet. First letter is dated in August of 2020. It's from the Benton County Farm Bureau. It's signed by Darren Stein, president at that time. So I'm writing this letter on behalf of Benton County Farm Bureau. One of our farmer members came to us earlier this year presenting to the board of directors with his concern. After much discussion, the directors voted to support the issue. He goes on to say the issue is 61st Street, east of 218, and a desire to have it upgraded to farm to market status with the agriculture equipment growing in size, higher yields per acre, increased school and youth activity south in the Benton. We believe safety is a top priority for all of us as farmers and the community. We'd like to see a proactive approach to public safety and upgrading the mile of the said road to farm to market grade. It's actually only about 6/10 of a mile. We anticipate a potential upgrade of the state stretch road will allow for semi-trucks, tractors and wagons, chemical applicators, sprayers, fertilizer equipment, and suppliers to be diverted away from the Benton Shellsburg schools and the surrounding growing residential area. As the Benton County Farm Bureau president, our board of directors would like to thank our county officials for taking the time to read this letter of support and consideration of this concerns. Darren Stein. Here's a letter from Tama Benton Co-op. Ben Schemmel is the general manager. It says, on behalf of the Tama Benton Cooperative Company and our members, we are asking you to consider improving 61st Street for agricultural use. The current condition of the road prohibits the cooperative, our members, and truckers from utilizing it for agricultural needs and services. Ideally, Tama Benton Cooperative would prefer not to travel with chemicals such as anhydrous ammonia in residential neighborhoods or near schools. Additionally, semis regularly hauling grain past these areas pose a safety risk to the public as well. Without a feasible alternative road, businesses and entities in the ag sector are forced to use these city routes. Since all business and landowners pay taxes to maintain roads within the community, we should be able to expect the same level of service on roads that will increase the viable commerce in Benton County and keep our children and the residents safe. Sidebar. Tama Benton Cooperative, according to these folks, put about $160,000 a year into kitty and property taxes. Just a side note. This is signed by Ben Schemmel, our general manager. Letter of support from the location manager. New Century Farm Service. People that just spent how many $1 million about 8 years ago upgrading a facility here in town. And this is from a man named Troy Kohler. He is their New Century Farm Service. He'd be their, I guess, president or something like that. New Century Farm Service is actually owned by Growmark. It's a subsidiary, wholly owned subsidiary of Growmark. I'm there in Illinois, and we'd have to get a road map probably to figure out where the hell that is at, but that's another topic. Here's a letter, and it doesn't have a date on it, but it's got to be back a couple of years ago. It says, this is a letter of encouragement to establish a farm to market road on 61st Street east of Highway 218, which is currently a dirt road. A lot of the verbiage in this is pretty well similar to what you've already heard, so I'll get to their bullet points. The following key bullet points are what we and our local patrons would benefit from for the improved road. And they're talking about 400 tons, that's 4,000 acres of anhydrous ammonia applied in this area, minimizing navigation through residential areas. And they're talking about 100 plus round trips on the dirt road needed today to operate safely and minimize navigation through residential areas. The post sprayers, the floaters driving the dirt road today when conditions permit to stay off the county home road, which is very narrow and difficult to navigate with oversized equipment. There's no question about that. Minimize navigating our equipment in residential areas and school buses. Okay, the ag sector will benefit in many ways with the improved road safety and logistics being just two of the benefits. As an agricultural community, we encourage you to consider this as a high priority project. And not only did Troy sign this letter, there's another letter here from one of their chief salesmen, Jeff Roller, who's been around for years. New Century Farm Service, they would also be in that $150,000, $60,000 a year property tax deal. So they are significant ag businesses in our area, and I think pretty reasonable thinkers. Here's a letter here from Lance Littlebridge, and it doesn't say anything different than what's already been spoken of. He, at the time, was the board chairman of the Benton County Corn Growers Association. Subsequent to that, he was elected to the chairman of the board of directors of the Iowa Corn Growers Association. Once again, you know what he's got on his mind. He wants something better than a dirt road. This is a letter from Darlis Hulme, Farmer Savings Bank. Improvements to the road so that it would handle heavy and wide loads commonly associated with the business of agriculture are far overdue. Perhaps the greatest benefit, now listen to this, perhaps the greatest benefit to the upgraded road would be the reduction of ag traffic on 13th Street, specifically in the area of Tilford Elementary, as well as the area in the vicinity of the high school. And she goes on to say, it is estimated that the 10 square mile located southeast of it has the potential to produce 600,000 bushels of corn and 180,000 bushels of beans annually, and that's over 1,000 loads that could use the farm to market road. Those same operations would not have to transport anhydrous ammonia and other fertilizer chemicals going through the town or past the schools. I'll just go on to say here that if there's something in this for me, there sure is. Last fall, we hauled about 105 loads of corn down the dirt road when it was fit to be on, when it wasn't, we went up past the school. And I would encourage you, if any of you have a semi, to get on Highway 218 and turn just south of the football field and go east. We're gonna have to have a turning lane in there if we can't get up Farm to Market Road, because you just can't make that swing. And I've come through there from the other direction, coming back into town, and you don't wanna do that on Friday night. We shut the combines off because of the football game and all the traffic. You know, at any rate, and the people who work at the bankers, Calvin Rickles, you know, Calvin used to run the FSA office out here. There's Tom Lindeman, he's my loan officer. Here's a similar letter of support from John Holes, the U.S. Bank. And incidentally, when we look at who's got the horsepower to move this program out of the starting blocks, I have letters here from each of the 4 township trustees for Taylor Township and Township and Eden Township. You know, that'd be Wayne Reinhardt, Kirk Appleby, that'd be Taylor, and on the Eden side it'd be John Holtz, also works at the bank, and Ben Olson. Okay, and we have a letter here signed by no particular order here. Mark Mossman, attorney in town. We have a letter from Eden Mutual. We have a letter here from Van Eschen Strong. Letter here from Bobby Hansen, who has a location behind Tyson's out here. He chose them to build his building, and his customers. He's a consequence. He said, "Can we do something different?" Here's a letter dated March of 2020, signed by, at that time, Mary Jo Heenstock, who was the superintendent of the school. It says, "Please consider this as a letter of support to review and consider upgrades to 61st Street east of 218th, currently dirt road, fair enough. Currently, many farmers and vendors must drive either on 13th Street past Tilford and then travel south, or they have to drive on 21st Street, the south side of the high school, then get out of town." And she goes on to say her concerns about anhydrous ammonia and fertilizer and chemical products. Additionally, it's been estimated that there are 10 square miles. Yeah, we've already talked about it. Providing a safe learning environment is the school district's #1 priority. To serve our farmers' ag business needs, and they are using roads and streets in the proximity of our school, and semis, large tractors, grain wagons, and other large equipment. Many of these pieces can be oversized and are hauling dangerous chemicals. Nothing you folks don't know. 61st Street was upgraded. If 61st Street was upgraded to having at least a gravel base instead of a dirt road, our agricultural business community would be able to use it as their farm to market route. Alleviating use of roads next to our schools and providing a safer environment for our students. The gravel road could handle the heavy and wide loads commonly associated with serving the agricultural community. And in it for what it's worth, Mark, about 500 students at Tilford, the elementary school, and they claim about 70 staff people. In the high school would be a little short of 500 in the high school. These numbers change every year, but between the two places, they got 900 students that would be affected by this, and probably 120 to 150 staff members that you know, let's hope it never happens, but if we can do something to make sure that we're providing a safe environment away from school, I think this project has some credibility to it.
Wayne, if I could stop
Yeah.
you for reasons of time, because we're going to get into our schedule here pretty good. I think we had, probably a couple of years ago, verbal agreement with the city regarding a survey out there. Isn't that correct? And at that time, we talked that it's probably going to cost about 15 grand for the survey. Isn't that right? Okay. Have you talked with the city, this is budget time.
Yeah.
Have you talked
Let
with the city?
me answer that for you.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Because I point blank asked Myron, who was in here last week, was it? Okay. If he had room for the county's portion of that survey in this upcoming budget. And he said he will make room. So, as far as the survey to get the ball rolling, the county is gonna have it in the budget.
Okay,
Do you think the city will have a
so,
portion?
so,
Because they were grumbling, yeah, they're in favor of it, but they didn't have it in their budget either.
so I think, yeah, and once upon a time, we had a little meeting with the city council one evening, we threw it out.
Right.
And I thought, at the end of that meeting, it was like, well, something we need to talk about, and nothing has ever happened now. And I'm just saying that, what I am sensing from the city is that, and this is according to Myron, the portion of that area that was annexed into this city stops short of the area that's now on that 50-foot easement for the dirt road. So their position's been, it in our backyard, it in our deal.
So
I don't know how we
they
get in the move.
go up to the easement, or excuse me, the right of way?
You need to talk to Myron and get the straight answer, because I remember what Myron said is when they annexed it in, see the section line on that,
With that, do you recall?
Oh, yeah.
the section
Their
line,
property goes up to the fence. It does not go to the middle of the dirt road.
yeah, the section line on that thing
Yeah.
is north of where the dirt road
Up
is.
to the- Everybody else, Gary's property, the property you bought, property
Everything
I
goes
own,
to the middle
goes
of
to
the
the
road,
middle of the road.
but
Yeah.
not the city.
Correct,
Okay,
Yeah,
so
The
that survey would fall upon us,
correct,
okay, as well as the cost of the project.
right.
Okay, well, we've got the nod to do the survey. And we've got that in our upcoming budget.
to start. Now your budget you're putting together starts the 1st of July.
Right.
And you can't find 15 grand to start that sooner rather than later.
No,
You
no,
know.
no, 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 they'll start it, yes,
Will it start before?
As soon as the weather's decent enough to go.
yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the reason why, I'm gonna show you this, you can take it home. What I'm gonna try to do is get a grant,
Good for you.
okay?
Good for you.
I've gotten one so far, since I've been a supervisor. I'll let you have this, you look at it,
Who's your grant writer?
easy call.
Okay.
But I tried to get it last year. The problem is, we have to have a dollar amount, what's this project gonna cost?
Bingo.
So we go back to the survey,
Yep.
which you're asking
Yep.
to start this process.
Yep.
So.
Is it part of that ratio funding?
No,
It is.
no.
Okay,
No.
because I know that, yeah,
You get a booklet like this in the mail?
Nope.
I'll let these guys look at it quick and then I'll give it to you.
No, that's fine.
All right.
That's fine. Just give me out of it. So am I hearing you fellas say that, and maybe I'm reading more into this than what I should,
no, I think you're hearing it.
this thing is on the track for completion?
The survey.
Survey first,
I get it.
and
I get
then we can apply for the
Yeah.
grant.
Yeah. How many more years?
Well, my timeline I'm looking at, if we get the survey done, I'm hoping to get the grant in 24. They pay for it, understand? We don't pay for it.
Yeah. I'm 72 years old. I don't have much time left, and I ain't going away, so. So we've got it, do we have it, an unofficial agreement that this is going to stay on your to-do list?
Well, if we're spending money on a survey, we're gonna be kinda serious about doing this thing,
I'm glad,
especially if we can get a grant.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
You know,
That's good.
if we can get a grant, I see no reason not to. Now, that's plain and simple. I'm not big on trying to spend taxpayers' money
Well, okay,
unless it's
okay.
a grant.
But it's been done before. You passed GO bonds to to finance things that were in the long-term benefit of the county and.
Such as the radios,
What?
such as the
Well, I was
radios.
kind of thinking about, the Benton Commerce Village over in Urbana that the county put $2 million in their pockets to develop that area, and that's 25-year-old stuff, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know that.
I'll show it to you sometime. I mean, it's just one of those things, but.
Yeah.
All right, so is that all the time that's allotted to me this morning to ramble on about things that I think are important?
I think we got the point.
Huh?
I think we got the point.
I think you kinda hear what we're looking at though, right?
I do, it's the timetable.
I know,
You know,
I know.
I mean, is it possible for you guys to put, I'm picking numbers, 600,000 in your 2023-24 budget for road improvements? Just to park there so you've got money available?
I would not be in favor of doing that.
And the reason why is,
I don't wanna raise taxpayers' obligations, really don't, I
So
don't know where we'd rob Peter to pay Paul,
yeah.
Yeah.
I get a part of that 80% of your budget is pretty well fixed and you can't do a hell of a lot about, but it's the other 20%
And we get the blame for taxes going up when the majority of that money goes to the schools.
predetermined.
So, yeah, I'm real hesitant. Grants, I'm all on the bandwagon, you betcha. Even if it's partial, something sure beats nothing.
Do you think it's worthwhile to spend some time with the city council so that they might have the opportunity to at least take a look at this?
If the city council would help, and I think Chris Ford's pretty good at writing grants. If they would get on the bandwagon with that, and 2 governmental agencies were applying for grants.
Could, and you can give the numbers you want to, but in terms of the area that's east of what Kirk Appleby owns, there's about 2,220 feet in there. That's about 30% of the total length if you measure the north side of the road and the south side of the road. About 30% of the total project would be in the area that's immediately adjacent to what the city has annexed into their residential housing area. So, fair being fair, Tracy's tried time and time again to sit down with the mayor and the folks that could put together a let's talk about this committee, and so far. So, well, I need to shut up.
I think you'd be willing to get a hold of Chris Ford since you're spearheading a grant. Wouldn't you?
Well,
See if
I would
they
like,
could stay-
when you're right, I'm not a grant writer, I'm not that smart, so, but what I would like is a copy of all your letters
Yeah.
that you got.
Yeah.
To send with that.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
we also did to get the grant for the transportation building right next door, and we won that.
Say it again.
We applied for a grant for this transportation building, and they paid for 95% of the building. This building over here did not. You know, it cost the county taxpayer maybe $25,000 for this big building next door.
Yeah,
That's all it cost.
yeah. Well done. I mean, as it should be, I just didn't know who at the county level was a grant writer. If you got ECOG going.
No, we applied through EasyCog for this grant. And I started last year.
Yeah.
And like I said, the snag was, we did not have a cost estimation what this project is gonna cost.
Yeah,
So now we gotta get back to getting the survey done to see what it's gonna take.
yeah. So this book I've got of this stuff, who do I give this to? You can photocopy anything you want on it.
Keep it until we get the survey done.
Okay,
Then when we get that done, I will look you up, Wayne, and
Yeah.
we'll get together, me and you,
that's fine.
make copies.
Yeah. With regard to this project, if there's anything I can do to help you, all you gotta do is, all you gotta do is tell me what you need.
You know, all the letters from all the business people.
Yep.
I'd like copies of that, but when we finally get the grant written.
Took me about a half day to get the signatures we got, and And every business that I approached, without exception, said, this needs to happen. So I'm glad to see you put it up in the front.
I marked that page at the bottom in there.
Yeah,
You
I've
can
seen
see
that.
the other counties.
Yeah.
What they got, that county, of course, did not get anything.
Thank you, sir.
That's their annual report. Gives you kind of the
What I don't understand is most of these kids come from, well, I shouldn't say most of them, but a lot of them come from Benton. And they're going right down that road. And I don't think they, well, I don't know, but I don't think they realize, the dangers there with all these trucks and all this equipment going down right in front of the school.
Well, they don't, in the little bunches, you know, and they dart out from behind cars. There's a lot of improvements that could be made in Tilford to make it safer, but we used to haul grain out County Road up to the 5 stop signs before you get to 218, and that's just, I mean, every person that signed one of these sheets out in the country said, we'd gladly go a mile south and keep it out away from town and the schools and et cetera, et cetera. There is huge support for this thing, and people are going, get going on it.
All righty.
Thank you,
Working
man.
on it. I am anyway.
Attaboy.
Yeah, my
Easy cognitive.
experience with that
And with the city, if they would
doesn't
back
seem
it.
to make any difference.
Then you've got 2 governmental agencies willing to throw in requests, so, yeah, okay.
Well, thanks, Wayne.
We can get back into the days. You're welcome. I'll be back to see you again, you know that, don't you?
We can count on
All right, moving forward.
Mark.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
I'll just summarize here real quickly for you. The budget that we submitted this year, pretty similar to what we've done in the past years. There's no changes whatsoever on our operational line items. No big purchases or anything like that forecasted. The only thing that I'd say about both budgets, the environmental health and the land use is that we have a new item in the budget this year that pertains to the vehicle that the county owns that's provided for our department. We're not planning on replacing any vehicle or anything, but we've had conversation with Haley, and Haley has asked, because you know in years past that we've taken some of the balance of the budget that we had and we placed funds in reserve for the ultimate replacement of our vehicle. And you just did that by resolution. We added $5,000 to the environmental health and land use budget for that same purpose. But the reason that it's added is, and the best I can tell you is the way I understand it from Haley is that's what the auditors asked that we do in that manner, that you actually show it as a budget item rather than how we've been draining it off in years past and putting it into the reserve fund. So I just wanted to make mention of that to you, that that's the only change whatsoever in the line items to either one of our budgets. Obviously, when it comes to salaries, there's no resolution on that. We put numbers in there basically just so it was covered. That what went to the Board of Health was an 8.3%. That was just to be in line with what the comp board recommended. Obviously, you haven't decided about that yet, and there's been no decisions whatsoever about the salary. As far as our income goes, we came through a pretty good year here this past year. We exceeded expectations on the income in all facets with environmental health and land use. I told you in the past that we try to be fairly conservative as far as what we estimate our income is going to be. Obviously, some of the work that we do is economy driven. And this past year, again, we did have a really good year. Just for example, as far as environmental health goes, I anticipated that we would collect $8,000 worth of permit fees. That's just specifically for septic system permits. So far in the first 6 months of the year, we've collected 13,000 plus. Land use wise, we had more subdivisions this year. We generated $250 per lot fees. We had 21 land use changes in the past calendar year. Each one of those generated a $500 fee. So from the standpoint of our income, we're up there. The operational line items, we're doing really well with what we have projected, not only this year, but in past years. We're pretty much in line with what has been budgeted for all of those items, so no anticipated change is necessary for any of those. The Board of Health portion of that budget was presented to the Board of Health on January 18, and other than the salary, they did approve the expenditures as presented to them at that meeting.
You've had a pretty good year.
Yes,
So how does that affect your vehicles? Obviously, you're going out in the country more.
hasn't really, obviously, we have a 2013 vehicle, but, we have only 80-some thousand miles on it, and we do maintain it, obviously, and, I haven't anticipated that we were going to be needing to replace a vehicle in the near term. We do, we do several trips, obviously, but they're all within Benton County, so that, the miles don't add up that much. Seems like you're on the road a lot, but you're not really going that far.
You're averaging about 8,000 miles a year, obviously, it's 10 years old, so.
Did you just start putting that $5,000 in?
Oh, no.
No,
We have a,
They've had, carried it over, but they never actually budgeted for that line item, so there wasn't like a paper trail to see.
Okay.
It was designated for another.
How much they got in there right now?
32,000.
Okay.
well, actually, that was with each budget.
Yeah, it's 64.
Yeah, $64,000 total.
Yeah, because it's out of the two different funds.
And so we're kind of getting to that point where we ought to be able to shut
Because
it
the
off.
last
here.
time you purchased, was it in 16 or 15?
The,
Like the other one.
the other one, 15, we got that back.
So we've been
No, it
doing
was-
that.
But
It was used?
It was 20, we bought that used,
Yes,
and it was in the year 2014, I believe, is
Okay.
when we bought it.
So they've been putting a little bit
away.
aside, but for us to follow that trail, I asked them to put it in motor vehicle line. Otherwise, I kind of like like the building project. That way we can visually see it building up.
We've typically never spent our monies down, and so what reserve we did have, we put into that fund so that when it is time to replace that vehicle, it's not a big expense. It was money that was already levied that we put in there.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and then the year that you go to purchase it, you'll put the full spending authority.
Back
Right.
into the budget.
Right.
I don't have any question.
I sent you out I think I did send you guys a copy of our report for this past year with land use.
Yep.
And like I said, the numbers were all up dramatically. How that goes this year, we don't know, obviously, but, had a really good year.
Anything crazy?
No, it's good to me so far.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow then too.
She's on too, on the 10th, right?
Well, I haven't talked to them yet on
Tracy, before we do the sheriff's budget, could we do number 7?
Sure.
Get that one done.
Sure.
Without even to sit here through that.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Ben.
Ben? How about,
Excuse me, George.
So, looking at my RVM committee list, one thing got overlooked, this past time, I was still on the committee from last year, when I was appointed to the committee, and I'd like to resign from that, and also, possibly look at getting a board liaison onto our IRBM advisory committee. That way, there's a board member present at all meetings, and can vote on what happens or what they believe should be beneficial for our department, and that way they're fully updated on what's going on with daily activities, and they can report back to the rest of the board of supervisors. That's mainly why I'm here, just to resign and get your guys' opinion and having a board liaison on our committee.
I don't see anything wrong with that. And from what I understand, Tracy attended the last meeting. Yeah. Must have been an asset to have you, him asked to have you on there.
So do I get a motion?
Okay. That would be a motion to appoint Tracy Seaman as supervisor representative on your IRBM board.
Okay, and then can I add in, you're gonna accept his?
And we would accept George's resignation from that board, of which he's the department head, so he depends anyway.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
You second that, did you?
Yeah.
He did. Aye. Did you hear that train in the station, did you? Okay, good.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Good to see you. Thank
See ya.
you.
Sheriff.
Budget. You go to, I just divided into the different accounts. First one is 1,000, that is the control. You'll see that the very first one, the salaries of the regular full-time people, it goes down. Most of the money that is taken out of there shows up later in a 1060 account for the second deputy. So that's really not taking it down.
It's not a true
It's
statement,
just
huh?
shuffling it around.
Yeah.
That's where he's being paid out of the other account. The next one, the part-time special deputies, that's basically the full-time wage for one officer that would cover the vacations and the sick time and all that. I've got 2 people out with COVID right now. The overtime, we're doing well on overtime this year, but you never know. The big guess in this one is the fuel.
See, that went up a little.
And I have no idea if that's enough to cover.
Small percentage, huh?
Yeah. If I go off of this year, yeah, it's about gonna double for next year if prices remain as they are. Because we've spent most of the remaining in, December, I believe. We paid another like $6,500 fuel bill. So that pretty well eats this year's fuel up, so we're gonna be way over there. The rest of that runs fairly true, there's no big changes.
Motor vehicles is up.
The motor vehicles is up 20,000. Next year, the plan would be for one marked, 2 detectives. And if there's money left, we would rotate the transport car out. The 140,000 for this year is still there because we don't have the ones that we approved back in July yet. They were actually able to order them in October. To order them, we had to sign the purchase agreements up front, or they couldn't order them. I'm just taking a guess and saying when we bought the 4 out of Illinois, they were bought and put into inventory. And apparently Ram did not like that. So now we have to have purchase agreements up front. They don't want them sitting around in somebody's inventory. The next one is 1010, that's the investigative fund. You'll notice fairly large increases in the rest of these. The budget that we did for last year, we did not go back in the books and add the 10% increase. So there's last year's 10% increase in there, and this year was figured with 3%. So the wages and the rest of it, the bottom line shows a much larger amount, it's 13%. No great changes there. The next one, the 1040, is the 911 budget. Same thing there in the top line with the regular employees. The rest of them, there's no great change. The next one's the big one, that's the 1050 account, that's the jail. We're actually getting to be in better shape. We're getting a few people hired. We'll take our overtime and our part-time costs down. There is a bunch of money in the temporary part-time people. That went up 40,000. If we can get back to full strength there, that would come down considerably. We wouldn't necessarily spend all that. The overtime and shift pay, that's a guess once again.
Can I ask a question, Ron?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the salaries, is this where that deputy from patrol went down to here?
No,
No,
no.
it's just that much of an increase
Well, excuse me,
for the jail.
from jail, I added back in the utility duty officer who works part-time in the jail and then does, building maintenance the rest of the time. We thought maybe we could do without that position. Last full-time person we had in there was Gary Benson. And on Thursdays and Fridays, he would do the people to court and,
But you don't pay him $170,000.
no.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
there's
big jump.
There's a 13,000 in that,
Right.
there's a 13% plus an additional position. And that would be the utility duty officer.
That just seems like a heck of a jump.
It is.
I mean,
From
even at 13%, right?
From 447 to 615 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I mean, that 447,
I could recheck the numbers there and see if I can make that look better. But there is an extra, there is a new spot, we'd be filling the position that when Gary retired, we never filled.
but 447, times 13% comes up to 505.
Yeah,
Unless you're paying him.
I've got something wrong there.
Yeah, unless you're paying him 110.
Nope.
If so, I'm gonna quit this and apply.
Nope. Nope.
Okay, so
I'll,
you're gonna
I'll
look
go
at
start
that.
by that one, and I'll get the
Attaboy.
number to you.
Thank you.
Uh,
I was gonna have to go with Tracy next
Well,
week for stress
anytime,
test.
if you're, moving a certain person to, Ron, make sure we make a note so Nancy knows for payroll,
yes,
because those are already set up, so we have to know what line item to pay those out of. If it's one particular one you're thinking of switching.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
nope,
rain on the parade.
nope,
I guess it did.
but I'll look at that, cause that, you're right, that number's too big.
Thank you.
There's extra money put in the temp and part-time. Hopefully, like I said, it's starting to look a little better. We're getting some people coming in the door, hire them.
Yeah, cause that's 66% increase.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah,
Hopefully that can
okay.
we wouldn't spend it. Overtime shift pay. Geez. Once again, that's a guess. Hopefully we wouldn't spend all that. Food and provisions. We're getting killed again.
Yeah, grocery stores are costing more money, aren't they?
Yes, they do.
But then you're not even a 10% increase there, so.
Then we get over to acute and emergency care. That's 1050,304. You'll notice a huge increase.
Do you get a lot of that reimbursed? Or not?
So,
Really?
what we had was an in-house,
Right?
they went bankrupt.
Yep.
They were far cheaper than anybody else that we had. Right now, our issue is finding a firm that wants to come in for the number of beds we have. The closest last time, was like, $30,000 more than the one we had. And that was like 4 years ago. So we haven't even got anybody to come in the door and talk to us yet.
So
We were close to getting the county health department to run it through there. Until they came down, they have to have civil liability insurance on the doctor's end. And their insurance company said, absolutely not. They wouldn't do it. So that put us back to looking at these companies again, and I can only guess their insurance has gone through the roof. The issue there is that the county health is ran through Virginia Gay, and it's not ran through the county, otherwise our insurance would cover it. Is the explanation I got.
Run that by me again, please.
The county health department.
Yeah.
Is a part of Virginia Gay, and they get some money from the county, but it's actually ran through Virginia Gay,
We're discussing a little of that tomorrow.
so it's not our insurance that covers them, it's Virginia Gay's. If it was ran completely by the county, then our insurance would cover them.
We'd have to see what that would cost to run it through the county.
Yeah. But currently under Virginia Gay's insurance, they don't want to do that.
What's that? Yeah, under theirs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no big changes in the rest of that.
May I ask a question on
Yes.
acute emergency treatment?
Yep.
I know that when someone is released from jail, they also get a going away
They get a bill.
invoice. Would that also include the healthcare,
Yes.
not just room and board?
No,
Any
that
health care as
includes- If they had to have some health care, that includes it. We've got if they ask to see the nurse, we've got a $5 copay that we put on the books. And then if they don't deal with it through the nurse and the jail doctor, then we have to take them to the clinic or to the hospital. That's part of the county collections.
And that money that comes back goes into your budget, is that correct? That they collect?
It can be used for certain things, remodeling, juvenile justice systems within the jail. So we put it all back in the general fund.
Which is, okay.
It's like the housing of prisoners for other counties and for the federal government. We put that money back to the general fund. And then the reimbursement from Benton Community Schools for the school resource officer, we put that back to the general fund. Anything we receive extra, we put back to the general, basically is the way we do it. The other piece of not housing other people's prisoners is we make money off of the commissary. There's phones, they can buy cards and use the phones. There are little kiosks where they can do video visitations. And there's a little thing they call the Twitter. It's a hardened cell phone, basically, in a case. And I think it's a dime a text. And then everything they text is saved on the cloud so we can see everything. It's unbelievable how much money we get in the profit side of that. And that is in what we call the stellar teller. It's an in-house account and we can use that money. We replace the uniforms, the blankets, anything they need in the jail. And if it's to the direct care of prisoners, so over time we put a new dishwasher in with that funding. And we put in a commercial washing machine with that funding. When the building was built, it had hookups for a washer and dryer like you have in your house. That doesn't quite cut it.
Sure.
You got 30 people in there.
Thank you.
Yep, the rest of that remains pretty much the same. Down in the bottom, in the 1060 is the administration. You'll see a large increase in the second one. That is where the chief deputy and the second deputy are paid. Comes out of that fund. The biggest chunk of that comes from that patrol, which is where he's been paid from prior to that. I don't think there's any, some of this we've just moved in, and then I noted on the stuff I sent to Haley of who we want paid out of these different places. So you'll see one went down to $5,000, but the one above it went up. And basically all the money that would have, there's two people in there instead of one. And there's nothing else in there that really changes. everything on the expenditure side.
Well, wait a minute, back up there to, page 4. Towards fourth from the bottom.
Page 4.
If information tech hardware. Is that the company you got hired to maintain your computers?
Part of that is, and then we've got one large service agreement that we pay yet.
What fund is that then?
It comes out of 3 different funds in here. Part comes out of jail, part of it comes out of dispatch, and part of it comes out of administration, and then the biggest chunk comes out of 911.
What I'm getting at is that, are you interested in Ben, our IT guy?
I am.
Okay.
Yep.
And he's leaning on hiring somebody come 1st of July.
Yep.
I didn't know if you got extra.
That number's gonna change dramatically.
Yes. I didn't know, but if you got it in 3 different places there,
Yeah, I take that bill out of 3 different
Is
places.
that for
Okay.
Fred? For John Fred?
Yep,
Is it gonna be approximately the same for each area? Or you have 30,
Yes.
you'd deal about 90?
yes.
Okay.
So you're still planning for that next year though?
The money's there, but it would go.
Else, another direction.
Just in case you need to get that.
okay. That was the question I got.
The rest of it, the health insurance, the FICA, the IVers, everything, that's just straight across percentages.
I forgot to give you the forfeiture fund stuff.
Oh,
Do you have anything major in those, or should I keep about the same, you think?
those stay just right where they're at.
Okay.
That has to balance with the federal government.
Because I forgot to send you that portion. I can do that again, or we can
Okay.
catch up on that.
Yeah, those should be about either 60 or 80,000 between the 2 of them. Don't believe there's anything else in there. In the revenue side, don't think anything's, unless we don't get our medical situation straightened out, I don't see any changes coming for any of that. Everything's kind of holds true. I will go back and run the numbers on jail. Because that one is-
Yeah, to see what happens.
seems like it's about 100,000 out of whack.
You're pushing these big numbers like that, it's pretty easy to fat finger something.
Oh, yeah. And then it's not tricky, you just have to remember you have to do it. We pay 3 different percentages on the, IVers, depending on which classification they're in.
Sure.
And then the wage part, basically throughout the entire building, it goes on years of service. So if I don't catch a step for somebody, that kind of throws it out of whack.
Mhm.
But it should be very close, except for the one that just appears to be about 100,000 high.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
All right.
Any other questions, Tracy?
Just going over your revenue. Just one question is, on the contract law enforcement,
Yes,
okay, we agreed what the 3 cities that have their own law enforcement, they're gonna kick in? Is that ain't figured in on this 135,000, is it?
that is, it's on down in another spot here. Intra-county reimbursement radio operator, that's gonna have to go up, you're right.
Yes.
I'll star that one and get you a figure.
Good. Okay,
Because you showed one down.
Yeah, it's gonna go up.
big time.
The law contract, are you keeping those the same now?
Yeah, we're 3250,
That's
I
what I thought.
believe so, yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah, for this coming year,
Yeah.
right, that you're looking to change that.
Yep.
And contracts are up on different times for different towns, right?
They basically run on the
Same fiscal year.
Oh, it is.
fiscal year.
Shellisburg had called and inquired if we were gonna raise that, because they were talking about the
Right.
dispatch fees, so,
I told them that this year.
okay, that's,
Look for an increase next year. That gives them
Is it 24, 25?
that gives them 2 years and then an increase.
I thought you were only gonna give them a year though, to be honest.
My memory was that good, I tell you.
Okay.
It is not.
And Atkin, are they paying more than their contract? Didn't we just agree on a contract with them, or is that kinda open yet?
They're paying what everybody else is. They would like to get more hours and pay more. I told the mayor we'd visit. Because I'm up to full strength in the patrol division.
Cause I know I don't have that with me.
what do you want the contract?
Yeah, I don't have that with me.
Because currently I believe they're still at the 18 hours a week.
No, I don't have.
Well, soon won't be till they're looking for a full-time person.
They need to be looking already.
They're paying a yearly sum of 30,420 for 936 hours.
30,000, okay.
It's about half-time.
Pretty close.
Well, that's just for wages, that don't include
No,
anything else like a car. You know?
No, but when we were having their visits with them, they were willing to pay a lot more.
they are.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
If we can get them 40 hours a week, they're willing to pay the bulk.
Yeah,
They've checked and they don't know if they're gonna be able to float it on their own. Of course, the more new houses they get, better it looks for them, but I assume those are in those.
and I haven't seen them plans on their fire station, cause that's
Okay.
one of the things I suggested for helping them, that they should figure in a law enforcement corner. And I don't know how they're coming on that. Don't have a clue.
I mean, office for
Yeah.
their
Law
Officer.
enforcement. That's all I got. You guys got anything more?
I got those two line items to get you a better number on.
Okay.
The one is high and the other one is definitely low.
Okay.
I forgot about it, to tell you the truth.
With the revenues.
Yep.
So,
We've got, case we did with the federal government that's gonna bring in some forfeiture, but it seems to be slow coming. They always are.
Thank you, Ron.
Yep, thank you.
And I'll email you those other ones for the books.
Yep, thank you.
County attorney budget. Yep. We're getting close to being back on time, ain't we, Rick?
Yeah,
Well, you're not going that far off.
and I said 3 days to start with, so I was
You
glad.
did.
I also have my new employee here to meet you, and I did a contract like Dave has done in the past for her.
Ray, do you want me to give them copies of the contract or?
Yeah. So it is essentially the exact same contract that Rosemary Schwartz signed 3 years ago, except I added maternity leave, like her in a civil rights contract, but same rate, same price, everything, the same wage and everything. And this is Elena with me. She's not normally this quiet.
How many applicants did you have, Ray?
4. And I interviewed 2 of the 4.
Okay.
So if you want to approve the new hire, we'll do that by resolution.
Can you tell us about her background?
Oh yeah, she has almost 2 years of paralegal experience. She knows how to use the electronic data management system, the courts online system, and she also has about 1.5 years of public service, customer service work, phone work with people, which is really important in Deb's world, collections. So she's a real infectious personality that will work well in this position. So, and she's young, but she's pretty experienced for a young person her age, and she brings all the right personality traits that we want in collections. So, and, maybe, I don't know, you want to add about yourself?
I've lived in 3 different places. So I grew up in Dubuque, and then I lived over by Davenport, and then I finished my high school senior year out here. So I'm pretty familiar with all areas and a lot of different people. So I'm very observant as well, and I have a great work ethic.
She does. I can attest to that. You're gonna get your money's worth out of her. By starting her 2 year, I will we pay her $11,000 less than her predecessor. So that's money that we may save or have. I built in a raise on July 1st because I didn't know what you guys would do, and I didn't want to go 1.5 years almost without a raise. Oh, one other thing too, she actually had been offered a job 3 weeks ago, was gonna take it, so, I was happy that I could talk her out of it and get her to apply here. So the salary is basically matching what they offered her. Or within $1,000 of it.
So her employment is actually gonna start today,
Yes,
if we give our blessing, right?
yep.
I'm not gonna second it. I don't think she's got enough experience. We let a man go that had, I believe he was an attorney, is that correct?
Yeah, he was licensed.
Okay, so he was a licensed attorney. We're hiring somebody that's got, are you 20 years old? 19?
Yeah.
19. I don't know many 19-year-olds without a degree that start out at $40,000 a year. You know, and
Has, quite a bit.
I get it, Ray, I get it. She's probably has a dynamic personality, but we're looking at collections. And we're looking at somebody that is replacing an attorney. I would just soon go into this in less than a public meeting, but I don't think this is correct. I'm not in favor of it. Nothing against you, young lady, don't know you. So it's just, and it's nothing against Ray. It's just nothing against Deb either, okay? Just so the world knows, I don't know how you replace an attorney with a 19-year-old.
Well, I was more focused on productivity than credentials. And I think that's.
Man had been there for 9 years.
Maybe we should go into closed session.
I'm thinking we should, but this isn't the time because it's not on the agenda.
Right.
So we'll table it for now.
I would definitely recommend that,
So I need some
unless you're
clarification.
seconding it. But I would
This
recommend
time
we
I'm
table
not
it.
gonna second. I
Okay,
just assume you get more clarification.
Yep.
Make everybody on the same page.
So what do I do with Ms. Bennett at this point?
not hired. I don't approve it.
Yeah, we can't hire her, but can you get her on the minutes for tomorrow or the closed session yet, Haley?
Is the salary the main issue? Is that the main issue?
Experience. Salary, yeah.
We don't have it on until like 45.
Well, you have 24 hours.
I mean, I've already posted since we have things
She
up
got-
till 10:30.
Tomorrow's already posted, but I mean, if she gets on it right now, we did, and you had a pretty full agenda for tomorrow too, right?
It's up until about 10:30ish, 10:55, so.
Why don't you say 11 o'clock? Can you do that? Ask him to do that.
Okay. And do you want me to use,
We'll meet with
what
Ray
section do you think the
and close
employee
session.
eval?
Yeah.
And I can't quote the number on code.
I don't know, it's 21.5 something.
Okay, so go ahead with the budget, I'll read this budget.
Okay, thank you.
I've not done this budget hearing, so I don't know where to start, how we go about doing it. I didn't really know what to recommend, because like I said, totally inexperienced, but, so I just put the comp board recommendation for wages, which I suspect you're not gonna do that, and that's fine. That's what I put in. Other than that, I didn't add a lot of, to the budget, just a few areas, right, Lori?
Right, there's just a few increases.
Not much.
Yeah, not much.
I did notice, are you guys not gonna use a collections fund for part of the salary then this year?
Yeah,
So you're not,
yeah, we're not gonna supplement salaries with the collections.
okay, just to make sure we're clear on your person.
Yeah, I know that's been a headache.
But that was 25,000, right?
I think it was like 24 or something.
Where's that money gonna go?
Out of the general. We were paying them out of collections, part
Right,
of that, but she's saying it's going back into the regular general.
I understand that, but the collection funds that you did get, where's that gonna go?
Unless we would do like a transfer to the general basic, but otherwise we never.
The incentive fund is where that money was coming from. But it's been going down. That fund is not, I couldn't get into my computer this morning to look up the exact number, but I think there's not much more than 25,000 in that account anymore.
But that's ongoing, but you're just saying that you're paying
At
out more
this
than what
time,
you're.
yeah.
Okay.
And there, like I said, there might be a little more in there, but I was not able to get in this morning.
Well, the second line item went from 47,923 up to 127. This is for regular employee management.
So we switched the second and the third line item. So the second one, we changed it to managers. Before it used to just be Deb, the collections manager. So we moved my salary from the paralegal line up to the manager one.
Okay.
So now
Which was
there's,
about 35,000 there.
yeah, and then also, since we were supplementing with that collections money, we're not doing that anymore.
So they're
Okay,
gonna
but
go
there's still about $50,000 difference.
Are you looking under?
Line 3, if you take the 106 from the 143, I just ballparked that at, you said 30,000 off, right? 30,000 off would be 113, you're at 106. You add 30,000 up to 47, that's 77. You got 127.
I'm gonna have to redo my calculation.
And so that's $50,000 higher. Under the management part. And you can check it out.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah, that's fine. And I realize, Ray, that you're new to this. It's been 24 years since you've done it, so.
Yeah, it wasn't very complicated back then.
Yeah, I get it, I get it. like you're about 8.3 on your totals, so, on page 3 and 4, which is salaries. Yeah, I think it's just a shuffling item, is probably what it is. Like the sheriff fat fingered something, I think that happened, so. I didn't see any other areas, Tracy.
So, push the pencil here.
Haley, is that, IT from ARPA, that would go into the current budget
That's when I'm on our budget now.
on the bills, so that's not on a 23, 24?
No.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, Rick?
Yep.
Push the pencil here. And what their actual labor, well, I gotta figure it's gonna go down 22,000.
Where are you at here? Oh, you added them up?
I added them up.
Okay, which is very,
I'm like you, the numbers, you know, were bigger. And I just added what, the re-estimation,
okay,
22, 23, and there's $22,000 different from what requested for the next budget, so I say she's right. It's in different lines, but I mean, the total dollars are,
yeah, that's what I said.
yeah.
When I went to the, bottom line, it was all 8.3, which is what we figured in for raises, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Cost of living, basically, yeah. I think it's just a matter of, yeah.
And see, one thing that us supervisors, we don't know nothing about is your revenue. You know what I mean? We don't know nothing what the third floor brings in.
Yeah, and it shows,
Absolutely nothing.
it's just shown identical to this current budget, so.
One thing that isn't in here because for 2 years, Ed's been trying to get Ed to act on it was jail revenues. And my hope is to put a lane on that so we can start generating revenue from people who get put in jail, their fees. Because right now, there's not a way to collect it really. I mean, there is, but it's not been done. Nothing's been done with it for 2 years, so.
I thought Ron just said that.
It hasn't been very active though.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
but he was saying that anything comes in.
Right, but they gotta get it first.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Ed was supposed to go over and sit down with them, get it started, and he never did.
He never said, Ron, the sheriff never said how much was coming in, so, yeah. I get it,
Well, there's a lot more out there to get, that's for sure.
sure.
The issue is, how do we, because we have to do it through a small claims process, so we gotta find somebody to basically contract to serve these people at a lower cost, otherwise it could get prohibitive to do it. And we have some in mind, so we're working on that.
For service,
Yeah, retired deputy,
you bet.
but that would generate, I don't know how much yet, but maybe Deb can talk about that a little bit, but it's untapped really.
Isn't some of that if those inmates had, their own health insurance, can't we try to get it on that too? You know,
I have no
I know
idea.
years ago, we had a few,
We do on the,
yeah. Well, sometimes, those are the things I've seen, so.
in the
I don't have
100%
any
of that
questions.
seems
I don't either. I don't have any more questions. Then Ray, you're back on the docket for tomorrow at 11.
Okay, we'll be back.
And then if you
Thank
wanna
you.
come for that public health
Is
discussion, that's on at 10.
Like, do you want me to choose or just?
Oh, it's up to you if you want. I know, Maggie Mangold and Barb might be in here for that too.
Does the board want me here for that?
This is for setting that contract?
Yeah.
It's for part of that discussion funding going forward, yeah. We had some concerns, and then Katie Cox would also like to meet with you guys, and she was asking for February 10th, which is a Friday. I was gonna talk to you guys first, if you guys are available.
But tomorrow, that's over the contract?
Kinda, yeah, she wants to come in and get some funding,
Okay.
she just wants to,
How about this? Ray, if you ain't got nothing on the docket for tomorrow, can you come over early for
Yep.
that?
Yep, I can do that. Yep. Is there anything you would like me to discuss with Elena in terms of something more suitable for your,
Not at this time today,
alright,
all right? We'll wait till tomorrow.
Okay.
Hey, I don't have anything on the schedule for tomorrow. 3 out of 5 days, if you went out, before out of 4, or out of 5.
okay, well then I will tentatively post that, and then essentially the Farm Bureau one.
Yeah, I got that.
And then you guys never said yes or no on the 30th.
Farm Bureau is, that's the 8th, isn't it? Monday?
Monday night, the 30th, you guys never answered on that one. Do you want me to post one for the evening one? He said it's up to you guys if you wanna come, to keep him actively going. If we don't wanna make it all of us, we don't have to.
That's the night they discuss their budget.
For
This,
staff,
this coming Monday,
the 30th.
the 30th.
Yeah.
Throw us on there. I'll go.
Alright,
Okay, is that at 6 o'clock?
I think it's usually 6:30,
6:30.
6:30?
Yeah.
because he does his EMA, and then they do like their commission, right, first, and then they go into the budget.
Yeah. That's
February,
at 6:30 it starts. Now, the other said which one's the Farm Bureau now in February?
Farm Bureau is February 9th,
9th. Oh yeah, there it is. I got it on here.
and then February 10th is
What time is
Katie
Farm Bureau?
Cox. That one is
6:30 at night.
6 PM.
It's 6 o'clock, yeah.
They usually feed
I got it
December,
at 6 o'clock, yeah.
Okay.
because their meeting starts at
And
7.
then Katie is when now?
The 10th?
That'll be here.
Yeah, they want to do this one.
Makes sense. And, what time?
Let's see what we decide. So I was told I would check with you. So I think we're pretty much open.
I'll let her set the time. You let us know.
Preferably Friday.
Yeah.
I'll just put it in here for 9 o'clock and then change it as needed.
Okay.
This is Monday.
No, this is
No.
February 10th. Monday the 30th is 6:30, I believe. Well, he's talked to me, but that's, he was trying to see if you guys all wanted to come. If you didn't, you didn't have to.
Where's that one at?
Sheriff's office, at
Sheriff's
the EMA.
office, come in from the east side. Up the steps. All right, Chester.
10:30, we're on track with Wayne.
Wayne,
Yes, sir. I assume you all received my emails for the end of the year report.
yes, we did.
I just feel that since the supervisors commissioned us and you fund us, that they should see what we've been doing for the year.
It's nice to have a report.
Okay, did you put in a request
Request.
for money?
Funding?
I kind of put his same amount as last year in there.
Yeah,
So it is in there?
it just kind of rolls over. It's,
Oh, you don't have it in yours, it's in those non-departmental in Boston.
Okay.
That you're gonna send?
Yeah, I'm bringing those tomorrow, Ray.
Okay, good.
and that starts
July
July
first.
1st.
Yep,
And it's
you guys
free.
haven't hardly used anything this year.
And we've been trying to get somebody to survey some of these outer cemeteries, and they just keep dragging their feet. So we're kind of holding money back to do that.
Yeah.
And that's 5,500, right?
Yeah, let me look here, tell you the amount for sure. Let's see.
Those cemeteries that are not being used anymore, do you survey the entire cemetery, even where there's no graves? Or do you,
Well, of course, they're generally graves that aren't marked, and so we wouldn't know the location, so we'd probably just survey what's existing as far as the cemetery boundaries go. Be our intention.
but there might be somebody buried outside?
Possibly. We're trying to avoid what happened to Stringtown. We get them surveyed in, and know where they are exactly, and we have it recorded.
How many cemeteries is there like that?
I think most of the pioneer cemeteries have not been surveyed.
Have not?
Yeah, I don't believe so. No, do one or two a year, and over 20 years, it'll be taken care of, kind of stringing out.
We usually, we give them 4,800 for the year.
Okay.
21, 22, I think they spent 1,074. 2020, 21, when they did some of the land improvements, they spent 3,300 approximately. So we've only spent 650 year to date so far this fiscal year. So I just kind of keep it consecutive.
What's happening with Stringtown down there?
Well, it's strictly a legal matter now.
Really?
Well, he won't let us on there unless we can prove somebody's buried there. So that's out of our hands. I think it's beyond us. So we found relatives of somebody who's buried there, and she's digging through her grandfather's records or whatever, trying to find things. So we got some leads.
The Stringtown, Blairstown.
Yeah, right.
That's what I thought.
But to move bodies, not just anybody can do that, you know.
Right.
You have to have officials, you have to pay for it. So if you're gonna pay, have somebody go out there and move 24 bodies, wouldn't you take the stones along with them to show they've been moved?
It makes sense.
It would make sense. Well, Steve Meyer of Blairstown, who used to be on the commission, spoke with a hired man 2 decades ago. He said he helped move the stones, toss them in a ditch or a creek somewhere, he doesn't remember what it's supposed to be.
Gary remembers.
Yeah,
I don't remember where that, I know they were moved, but I don't know where they went. I can't go point them out. I think they were moved into the creek.
I was gonna say, before you made a statement that they were in a creek. Yeah.
I never saw them there.
Okay.
if you go to the trouble of doing that, you're gonna take the stones with them to show they've been moved. Common sense.
Or you just yank the stones out.
Yeah. So it's just,
There used to be a church there and everything. There,
Oh, she was the clerk.
there's farmsteads been moved and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dorothy.
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 Dorothy Breck. Did you ever talk to Dorothy Breck about it?
I'll bet you she knows.
Dorothy Beck.
Yes. She's what, 102 now?
Yeah, you better talk to her if you're gonna.
Soon? Yeah. I remember the Kim Cook, who just got on the commission, is talking to somebody.
Okay.
So Dorothy Breck?
Yes, lives in Blairstown. And I don't know how she's doing or anything. I do not.
She called me about a year ago and seemed pretty surprised, so I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't. I don't get around like I used to. Except up the business.
But then if we just find some names of people who are supposed to be buried there, you know, it's, what else can we do ourselves? It's a legal matter.
We did ground penetration,
Mhm.
obviously, so.
Well, some of them cemeteries, I know last summer I had, Clint Sadmer, he come and got a couple buckets of that
Mhm.
gravel.
Mhm.
You couldn't believe how good that works for straightening the stones up. I can't remember what cemetery you guys did, but,
We went to McBroom.
okay.
I went up to straighten a lot of them up. I have one more that I need to straighten up, I kind of ran out of time.
I still got about four tons on the bottom.
Is that in Van Horn?
New, I live in New Hall.
New Hall. Okay.
Clint usually calls me and he comes over and fills up the buckets.
Is that a special gravel?
No, it's just chips, you know what I mean?
3/8 down or 1/4 down or something like that. But
Yeah, yeah. That's what I've been using for years.
Sure.
Use dirt, you know, you
Little
set,
settled.
dip us, yeah, you think you did a good job, and you get an inch of rain and or it's thicker, right? Put the gravel underneath it, it's good for quite a few years. All right. Well, it's good, Wayne.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I talked to Larry Andreessen about this. He said, just let us know. The county map has names of cemeteries on it. And there are some questions about some of the names here. Specifically here lately, Kirchner, it shows Hennings on here. And Paul or some Kirchner came to one of our meetings and said he doesn't understand why Hennings is even on the map. Because the Kirchner family donated the land. So it's Kirchner Cemetery. So he's gonna look through the land records. And our sign on the cemetery says Kirchner Hennings, so it's up there. So to change it on here, I just give it to the assessor's office, they take care of it, do you think? Or-
No, we get that printed by DOT or somebody, because I can't remember who we had the last batch do.
So if we have changes, we bring it into you.
You can let me know, or, yeah, and I'll try to figure out who. So the Kirshner, which one is it? It's under Hennings
It's
now?
on, it's Hennings in here.
What section township is that?
That's in
Where's that
Homer.
cemetery at?
It's in Homer Township, section 23.
And you want it changed to the Kirshner Hennings Cemetery?
Right.
Like Kirshner with the dash Hennings?
Kirkman should be first since they donated the land. That's what it originally was called, I guess.
I have to go back in the book too, but those are probably been like that for quite a while, I'd assume. If I'll make a note and figure out who does that.
And then Indian Mound, it's not even on here. But Ann Jorgensen was, we put a sign up saying Indian Mound, and Ann Jorgensen, whose land incorporates it, was kind of concerned about just Indian Mound. He said it used to be called Grimm Cemetery at one time, so we have Indiana Grimm on there now. But people don't think it's just an Indian Mound, it's a cemetery.
There's, Indian mounds on the south side of the river in fields. I know they're there. Do you do anything with them at all?
No. That's strictly archaeological, and the Indian Nation takes care of all that, the state.
How much nobody knows they're there?
Well, yeah, the state knows they're there probably, hopefully. Okay.
Yeah, it's been 45 years ago.
The state archaeologist takes care of those, registers those, I think.
Alrighty. Questions all answered?
Yeah.
Best we can.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yep.
Appreciate the,
Yep.
email.
She said, we can spend a lot of money this year, but
They still got a few months.
we'll probably get some more fence posts and things set up on corners. All right.
Thank you.
I did drive down this fall. Well, it was muddy then, I couldn't get out to the cemetery. The one south of 30, past of, where the 4 lane is and building a new bridge. That cemetery, that's off the road a quarter-mile.
Up on the hill,
Mm-hmm.
Van Meter,
Yeah, is that it?
got a big tree down in the middle of it.
Yes, yes.
Right.
I think you were the one that contacted me maybe about the tree.
Oh, yeah.
I went down to look at it, well, then I didn't want, they had cattle around there. I got out of the pickup, when I climbed the fence, the cattle got spooked. So I didn't go out there any further than that, and I thought, well, I'll wait till the ground freezes up.
It's still not froze.
Well, the township trustees thought we were gonna pay for that tree being removed. We can't remove all the major trees and such throughout the entire county, so. I talked to one of the trustees, and I think Haley's gonna send them a letter, that it's their responsibility. But somebody there, the family in there wants it taken care of, because one of the stones knocked over is their family stone, so.
I never got over to, look at it, but like, I looked with the spotting scope from the road, and I can see the tree being down there, and of course, the grass was, at that time, as tall as the stones. And I thought, well, I know enough farmers in that area, I could probably con them into giving us a hand with their tractor loader, and that's what you need, instead of killing the day, cutting it out in piecework. Without actually looking to see how bad it is, it looks like a fairly big tree. So.
Once the tree is taken out, we can fix the stone.
Yeah.
Back up again.
I'm looking at it, so.
Okay, cool.
Bear with me.
That
My
cemetery,
plate's full.
you can see where the wagon tracks are up from the highway up to that cemetery. When they crossed from Highway 30 to Belle Plaine, that's the route they took. And you can see the tracks in the spring.
Cool. Now, wasn't there kind of a small settlement right there where that white farmhouse is out along 30? I think there was a post office there at one time, possibly 1870 something or whatever.
I don't know. Okay.
Sure.
Well, thanks, Wayne.
You bet.
Can we back up to number 4?
Yeah. You answered that question. Rick answered that question. This one here, these are different numbers. Same price on the other side. Is that, you follow me?
They're two different line items.
I know,
Splitting-
two different line items, but it's the
he's
same.
Splitting the cost with the attorney and IT.
Okay,
If they look at the
Okay.
departments,
all right,
I think I remember him saying that. It was a
Okay.
new scanner or something.
got it. Let's see. That was the only, that was it.
And then I have the,
Yep. that's it.
Yes, the ARPA ones.
yep, they are.
Well, you probably got them here, don't you?
I just got them out.
Well, it's the 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
True North.
the attorney's thing and the True North.
Yep.
Yeah, the software for the attorney's office.
Yep, here they are. So the one is, for 40,410.
Yep.
And then the True North for 47,410. Or wait,
No,
44.28.
Oh, that's the same one here. Sorry. There you go,
Oops,
4,428.
okay.
You want to mention those? And make a separate motion for those two, please.
Individually?
For the ARPA ones, we're doing those separate, even though they're within your other claims,
Right,
for the reporting for the ARPA claims.
okay. I'll make a motion that we pay the True North Consulting, the 4428 from the ARPA funds, as well as the software for the attorney's office of $40,410. All that from the ARPA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now you want a motion to approve the claims as presented?
Yes, please.
That's my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. I also have the VA's quarterly acknowledge.
Thank you.
Get out to the flood insurance.
Well, that's pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah.
I'll take a motion.
Want to do that, Gary?
So move.
And I will second that, the approval of the VA quarterly report.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, got it. Well, I understand
Just got a regular other insurance renewal too from the union maker.
Okay.
So I'll
Yes,
go
under
through that and
reports.
we'll-
You know, I gave you a, and this is under reports now.
Okay.
I had given you valuations
Mhm.
from the appraisal. There was quite a few that were undervalued. You know, assuming nothing got changed on
You
those
just have to
values.
make that decision.
What's that?
You have to make that decision to tell them to up it or down it, or, you know.
Right, but that's the renewal.
No, this is flood insurance.
Oh, that's the flood
Yeah.
insurance?
Flood.
But
Okay.
what she sent us, but we can still make changes intermittently when they have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
adjust
I
that.
really think there's some areas we need to look at for that.
I
That's
know.
under my reports, sorry.
You're fine. This is a flood insurance.
Okay, I apologize.
Over close to $8,000, not quite.
This expires 3/9. So,
March 9th. Yeah.
111 East Fourth, is that garage in that building? Okay,
Behind the sheriff's. Or the other one too, yes, for, the assessor park.
yeah, that's the one I was thinking it is, isn't it,
Yeah,
111?
there's two, and then there's that other one for, where Wes is, the weed.
Yeah, get the weed department, then this other building. Oh, 111 is that's courthouse, damn it. Insured property, isn't that courthouse?
The 111 East Fourth is
111 East Fourth.
that's courthouse.
Yeah.
But then the other ones are,
Insured property location, 111 East Fourth Street.
well, 'cause courthouse is technically, we gotta put a little bit on that one
So
too.
you got 100,000 on that. Okay. All right, the other is the weed commissioner. Okay. So the sheriff's office building, new garage is there. And across the street, that garage across the street, those two are not insured. Is that correct?
Well, they should be, that's the word. Unless they're gonna come at a separate time, we always pay for all three of those.
Okay, because these are,
And then this one,
this is the courthouse, and this is,
because they come at two different times, so
okay,
we wanna
okay.
make sure they
So they probably do come then?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. All right,
They come in separate packets and.
Yeah. yeah. Yeah, I question with that server room being in the basement, $110,000 covered.
The last time that flood did come up, the only water we got in was from the backup of the sewer stuff. So he's got them all built up too now, and those shelves, and he redid those, and they're not on the floor. That's where my election equipment would be as well.
Is that gonna be enough coverage for it? You think? Haley, 110 for the basement?
I would think, I mean, I don't think we're gonna have issues. I mean, like, we did proactive before, that last time with the windstorm, when it was like backing up from the wind going in the wetness. Gina and I moved everything out of that room if we were here, but.
Yeah. The questions on the townships, like, I was always under the impression that Heartland, we covered our townships for insurance. When we were a township trustee, Mm-hmm.
they were saying we didn't, because like, we had a township lose a building in the, last tornado. Out by, behind us.
Okay.
Region. But I don't think the county covers that. So, is there an interpretation on that? Like,
Well.
because look what happened in Fremont when they
you're-
lost
you're-
the Legion.
Yes.
David Jones.
They carried their own insurance on the Legion there in Atkins.
What was that, for the Legion
That was-
there or the trust?
That was the trustees.
Okay.
They carried their own insurance on the building. Because to me, our insurance will cover the elected officials or appointed officials, like a decision or a lawsuit or something like that. But if it's a building or something that they own, it has to be recorded, on our insurance policy. Know what I mean?
Whatever happened to that building? I can't.
They still,
It's still empty.
he still was just in the other day, he's gotta figure out whether to come up with the initial funding to get it done. It's actual township to have to because they can't only levy a max, but they need the funds up front. So I gave him some people to talk to the state level and see what options. Because FEMA will only pay towards it, but we have to come up with the initial fee for them.
And I don't know how much they got left.
So he was just going to get his budget sheet started, so.
It's, like kind of stepped away when they had that bill for
From the cleaning up service master. I think he said that's settled though.
Yes, that was one. The bill was like $150,000 and they settled for $60,000.
They come down on their price.
David did that.
Is there a roof on that building?
Yes, new metal roof.
So it's dry inside?
Yes, it's not leaking, but see, if there's no insulation in it, there's no drywall in it or nothing. They decided to go after FEMA funds. Well, you're in that Legion Hall. It's not handicap accessible. You either got steps to go to the basement or steps to go upstairs. Okay, FEMA involved with it, you gotta get a handicap accessible. So I stepped away when they said FEMA. And then,
Do you need a motion to approve this flood insurance?
Yes, I do.
That's my motion to approve it.
okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we'll go to report.
I already made a comment.
Okay.
Last Wednesday morning, I had a meeting with the hospital people. And we've got to get our budget squared around before they can get their budget squared around.
You're talking for Barb and Mark's salary. Yeah, she said that to me. Did you realize tomorrow the public health is coming to here too? So you'll be working that.
Other than that, if you guys want some more reports from the hospital, I can get them people to come over more often if you want. Okay.
We're coming tomorrow and then we're having that special meeting February 10th.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
What are you on now?
Hmm?
You did the flood insurance, what else did you not do?
Ready for your reports. Fire away, bud.
Okay. Remember I had to leave last Tuesday real fast to get down the Hanway. I met with Matt from since Mark was underneath the weather.
Right.
We, come to where the building's gonna be built and all that. He did the soil testing and all that, and kinda figured out where we're gonna put the septic tank. And not a leach field, it's gonna be one of them sand filler
filters.
systems, yeah. So, got that kinda figured out with him, and he's worked, making blueprints. How he wants it done and all that. That's on Tuesday. Wednesday I did sit in on it, Zoom meeting, the WMA.
You did?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
They didn't have enough people.
They didn't do nothing.
No.
Which one was that?
Watershed Management Association.
It's kinda nice not having to use those line items to budget this year.
So, they're gonna have another meeting Thursday of this week to have enough people show up.
If they have enough, yeah. Zoom again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Landfill Thursday night. That was kind of a long one too. It's pretty well down where they're gonna start. It's gonna be sent out for bids to start building the new cell down there. Yeah, where's that? And the project estimated cost for everything is $1.1 million. The new cell's gonna be like $400,000 or $500,000, but they're gonna move the lagoons, down the hill and make it bigger, to hold more gallons. Well, that's another $500,000.
Why do they need to move it?
Because the next cell that they're gonna put is lower than,
Then the lagoon,
yes.
and the bad pump?
Well, I guess, yeah, they got pumps, but you got problems in the winter time freezing up,
The pumps.
yeah. So of course, the tiles and everything run year round, and then, and plus you'd be pumping it, you know. The new cell is gonna be to the east side of it, and the holding, the pond that they got now is way to the west. You know, so you'd be pumping it uphill, but way back. It'd be better off to have it down the hill and just let gravity come and.
Yeah, makes sense.
I get it, but anyway, that's just gonna go out for bids. It's statewide.
What are they gonna do with the current lagoon?
They're gonna use it until the new one's built, of course.
Well, yeah.
And then that'll be.
Filled in?
Yeah, filled in a bit, so garbage on top of it, so. All right.
So do they have, the old lagoon's gotta be lined,
Yep,
so they don't have to line the new,
yep,
well, they gotta reline it?
yep.
Why?
So
So
it'll leak
water.
out. So it'll leak out. You're catching the water from underneath the garbage.
Are the fees gonna stay the same?
Yes.
So I just have that the same.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Check that off my list.
Things have sure come a long way, cause I can remember whenever the pit, well, I can remember when the pit was at New Hall.
Yeah, well, like, you know, I was out there, I was telling them guys, that I'm gonna have to ask Myers if I can borrow the pictures. I thought it'd be neat to have. If you remember back when, landfill used to be east or west of the T intersection there, on the south side of the road. And they had that metal shed built there, and the landfill was full, and they, you know, they didn't mount it, it's level across there. And then they moved it, when they bought that 120 acres where the landfill is now, Myron moved that, not Myron, the last engineer that's retired now. Yeah, Jerry, moved that building, drug her down the road with a bulldozer. And I didn't realize it until yesterday. I seen the pictures of them doing it, the county doing it. Dragging that building right down the road with a cat. I thought that was kind of neat. Of course, that building's long gone, smashed away, and new offices and everything, but that's beside it. Also had Zoom meeting Thursday about the radio towers. They did the testing on the footings out here in Smith for the columns and all that. And they had to withstand 450 or 4,500 pounds of pressure per square inch on the concrete after it's set. They tested it and the figures was 5,300. So above their guidelines. So they're done testing and give them the thumbs up and start putting erecting the tower. Get her here and start bolting her to the Smith.
Good, good.
But didn't know when the tower's gonna come. That was kind of a fairly short Zoom meeting on that. Okay, and then of course Friday night, then I had the roadside management. And that was only attended by 4 people. It wasn't very good. Wayne was there. Fraser was there.
Becky,
Nope.
she wasn't there?
No. No, so them guys appointed, Becky back on the, as secretary, so.
Since she wasn't there.
Yep,
Oh, I see. That's how that works.
that's how it works. You don't show up, you get.
Well, Ann Jorgensen's on there, but she's,
But I think they're wondering somewhere, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and Joan Lundberg.
Yep, she wasn't there either. Yeah, that's enough polls. Then I met at least twice. Once last week, once this week with conservation over the. It's out for bids right now, and they're getting bids. Or they're getting a lot of questions anyway of people that wanna bid. So they're doing it different format than I would have done, but that's fine. I'm trying to stay kind of away from
Arm's
it.
length.
Yeah, but I had 2 phone calls here I see right now about it, so.
Okay.
In fact, I met you yesterday and I was just coming off the gravel road and we were going south. South of the Viaduct.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's good.
Doctor appointments.
That's what I was guessing.
You don't report on those, do you?
No. Okay, that's all I got, so, we're not working on the budget.
We got through those departments, so tomorrow, we act on the wages, I can pinpoint more clean line of departments.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna set the maximum levy notice and work on that, but
Okay.
I pretty much got just odds and ends to finish putting in, but I can print you out all the non-departmental miscellaneous ones for tomorrow.
Okay.
I have to get a hold of Ron with a few things, but
Everybody has come and seen us on the back of our orders.
should be.
That's asking. I haven't.
Well, no, you have ACAPs coming
Okay,
next week, and then you have Kirkwood tomorrow.
okay.
And then you have Katie Cox, public health regulator. But we have their
They're
requests,
in
so
there?
currently what I put in
Okay.
is what they've given us.
Okay. I haven't looked at them yet either. I'll take a motion here.
So moved. And I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.